to ensure that we sacrifice the sovereign individual view for the collective tribal view. Paid a very large price enriching the rest of the world. China's come up in a miraculous way in the last 40 years. Korea, India, while all of Southeast Asia, and increasingly Africa too, because the fastest growing economies in the world are now in sub-Saharan Africa. And that's produced a tremendous competition for working class people in the West. But speaking on a global level, there's never been a better time.
One of the big things that happens when you become successful is generally money comes alongside it, and the only way you're going to keep that wealth that you earn while becoming successful is if you understand how to properly use that money and manage your finances. It's incredibly challenging to not become successful and not make money because most people deem their success upon how much money they make and if they make the money they expect to. But when you understand that it's not about the money, but it's about how you use your money, because so many people have made tons of money and they're not even considered successful based upon what normal people believe is successful, but they've used their money smartly and figured out ways to make their money work for them. And that's all about investing in valuable assets and using their money to make them more money. And that's when it truly becomes incredible, is you get that money working for you. See, you already worked for the money, but the moment you start making that money make you more money, that's when everything starts to click and you get really excited. And you can do that several ways: by investing in the stock market and learning what cryptocurrencies are, by investing in real estate and going out there and renting a property and making tons and tons of passive income day by day that you're not having to lift a finger to make, and you put money into that and it's just constantly giving you money back. So that's what's truly exciting, when you figure out how to manage your money like somebody who already has tons of money and loaded, and that's who the people you need to look after.
Always, it's risk A or risk B. It's the risk of doing something versus the risk of not doing something. Or it's the risk of doing this instead of this. It's like risk is everywhere. So do people make foolish risks? Well, sometimes, obviously. It's foolish to go play a slot machine because the bloody thing is stacked against you. So on average, you're going to lose. But you can't tell that to the person who just won the jackpot. Your race, your ethnicity, all of the multiple categories that we're supposed to be considering as fundamental realities now. And that the best way to construe reality is that it's a battleground between those groups for dominance, power. And that's the postmodern ethos, and it's a pretty decent thumbnail sketch of reality. You can sum it up quite quickly. You can use it as a guide to action in all sorts of domains. Laying out the idea of individual sovereignty in a fully articulated manner, in a way that allows a political system to arise predicated on the assumption that the individual is of intrinsic value. And if you need a thumbnail view of the world, the most effective thumbnail view is that, both with regards to their rights, but even more importantly, and often forgotten, with regards to their responsibilities. It's hard to make a case that the future doesn't look comparatively positive. We're becoming extremely technologically sophisticated, and the world is changing at an incredibly rapid rate, and the only way we're going to be able to manage that in a positive way is if many of us, as possible, are capable of making wise and careful and truthful decisions. And if we do that, then maybe things can continue to improve. You can spend your whole life, especially if you're selling to companies, which is virtually impossible, talking to the wrong people. It feels like work, and it really is work. Never end up contacting a real decision maker. And then you can't tolerate the excessive delay. Like you think, well, I'm going to go sell this product to a big company because they can obviously provide me with a massive contract. Well, it's a real conundrum as you become successful, because you're in a situation where if your children ask you for something, there's no formal reason for you to say no, because you can provide whatever is being requested. But by doing that, you steal from them the opportunity to generate that for themselves. And that's, I suppose, one of the dangers of, one of the dangers of prosperity. People are more sensitive to negative events than to positive events. So a loss will hurt you more than a gain of the same magnitude will please you. So the reason I'm saying that is because it shows you that we're actually set up for a risky world. Our nervous systems are tuned to be more sensitive to negative information because the world's so damn risky. And I think that polities that are based on the first set of presuppositions, the tribal, degenerate into precisely what you'd expect, which is tribal warfare. And the second possibility of blooming into exactly what they have bloomed into, which are the most functional societies, the most peaceful societies, the most successful societies. You should all know is that as you get older, your family, the family you've produced, becomes more and more important. So we teach young women in particular that the fundamental goal of their life is going to be their career.
If you want to see more videos like these, please consider subscribing for more.